on, guys? Today I felt like playing a little wrestling. Actually, what happened was I watched this documentary on the Ultimate Warrior, and I I'm not a big wrestling fan. Like I watched wrestling when I was younger, but now it's been years since I watched wrestling. And this is a little while, probably I don't know. I say a couple of months back, and I was talking to my fiance about wrestling. She just couldn't understand, why guys watched wrestling. Why was it that you were so into wrestling? And even now, young men and adults still watch wrestling. That's just how it is. Everybody. It's a rite of passage for most guys to get out there and watch wrestling at some point in their life. You really have to be invested in it to really have a healthy childhood in your life. So I kind of explained it to her like this: like wrestling has everything that a guy wants. Wrestling is basically the male soap opera. It's literally what it is. I mean, wrestling has intrigue. They have good guys. They have bad guys. They have relationships. They have everything that you want in a good soap opera. It's just drama on TV. And then, on top of it all, you get to watch a couple of people beat up on a couple of other people. So wrestling is just basically drama. It's good TV. It's drama. You got a bad guy, he's the heel. You got a good guy, he's the good guy. So, that's one of the reasons why, especially when you're younger, you love wrestling because the the roles of the players are so clear cut. Like exactly who's who and what's what. He's the good guy, he's the bad guy. So you know who to root for on occasion. But like I was saying earlier, I watched this documentary on the Ultimate Warrior. And the Ultimate Warrior is the other character that I picked with all the face paint and the green underpaint. Him right there, getting into the ring now. And I don't know if you remember, but if you're old enough, you remember the Ultimate Warrior. And it's a big, tough, California-looking guy with the long blonde hair and the face paint. And when he came on, he had that real up-tempo music that everybody loved. Like, as soon as you hear it, it's just high energy. And then the funny thing about him was, like, he never, ever walked to the ring. Ever. He never walked to the ring. He always ran full speed to the ring, before he started out the fight. So I'm watching the little documentary. Everybody is just, it turns out that he's just really, it was a selfish guy and people didn't really like him. And then the other thing was because he ran to the ring, he was always tired by the time he got to the ring. So his matches never really lasted really long, maybe 2 minutes at the most. And then he did his gorilla press and ran across the ring, and then dive bombed on him, which I thought was really funny. But it turns out he's still alive, and which I'm really surprised about that, man. Like I hadn't heard much about the guy. It turns out that he just left wrestling or whatever it is. He he was in WCW for a little while and could come to agreement, so he just left. But once I saw that, then I started thinking about other wrestlers that I had seen. I used to see back in the day, and you'd just be surprised about how many cats have died. In wrestling, Hawk, the one on the left hand side there, he's dead. The of the Legion of Doom, he's dead. And I kind of, I watched. I forget what the name of the documentary was, but they kind of went through a lot of them, man. And Earthquake, the big heavy set dude that my character was fighting in the last one, he died. Um, you may remember Eddie Guerrero, he died also. The big boss man, the other character that I have, he's dead. Like there were so many people that died in wrestling. A lot of it's not from me wrestling, from them wrestling. A lot of it was outside stuff, or elements of their life outside of wrestling, and all that stuff. Like Chris Benoit is probably the most famous of all of the ones that you've seen out there, because his story was so tragic. If you guys don't know, he um, unfortunately he killed himself, his wife, and their two children. And this is out. I live in Atlanta, and this isn't that far from me. He's out in Cobb County, so which is sad. But the thing is, like, and I'm a big sports fan. So I love basketball. I love football, and the thing is, they, in football they have all this concussion talk, concussion this, concussion that. So what happened was with Chris Benoit, they went out and they took a slide of his brain, and he had so many concussions. He had been so concussed for so long in his life that his brain had degraded to like a 60 or 70-year-old man. And that dude was like 20, I mean, maybe 30 something, barely in his 30s, like early 30s at the point in time when all that had happened. But he had been fighting and jumping off the top ropes, and he was a smaller guy anyway. And these guys are really beating up on him. That he was a smaller guy anyway. So, him doing all this high flying act stuff, the smaller the character are, normally the higher the risk, the higher the risk of their performances. They're normally high flyers and jumping off of this and jumping off of that. But yeah, I was talking to a guy when I was at Arby's, as a matter of fact, and they were talking about concussions, all this other stuff. But yeah, I mean, and he was like, well, when I stopped playing football, he was playing football in high school or college or something and they had concussions and that never really happened to them. But, I'm talking to him like, well, that's the thing. You probably stopped playing football at some point. Ooh, that was vicious. Ugh. They finished me off royally. But that wasn't his profession. So, of course, if you do it for a couple of years and you get injured on occasion, it may not leave lingering effects for you. So, I was trying to give him some of that knowledge, but he wasn't here. But I got beat down. Now, if you guys have any questions or any comments, please make sure you leave and I'll get back to you. And as always, it's the Angry Tech Guy, and thanks a lot, guys.